Scott Hansen. I'm the Director General with the New South Wales Department of Primary Industries. I was a student at UNE from 1989 through to 1992, and I started a bachelor degree in rural science. One of the great things about the Bachelor of Rural Science at UNE then was it was 40 contact hours a week. It was pretty intense. And so you got to form really strong relationships, friendships with the people going through the course with you. You know, you spend 40 hours a week with people for 4 years. You form relationships and friendships that sort of withstand moving cross countryside, moving interstate, moving internationally. Everyone seems to maintain a network of who's doing what where. So probably one of the highlights was the relationships, including one of the relationships from my year, my 4 years here, which is my wife, and she was a UNE student as well. But just a passion for agriculture that at that stage, you know, we had a faculty of rural science. It was really one of the really proud sort of pieces of the university, and that was instilled into all of the students as they went through, that pride in not only the New England area, not only the university, but importantly in agriculture and our primary industries. A couple of key things that the degree and my time at UNE really helped with was, first of all, the work ethic and that recognition that you've got to put in the hours to get the rewards at the end of it. I mean, that was strongly drummed into us by the lecturers and the tutors we had over the 4 years. A lot of those lecturers actually, you know, we didn't probably recognise at the time, but once you entered into the workforce, you realise that they were actually internationally renowned leaders of research in their areas. And so the ability to reach back into those researchers, those lecturers, and to be able to tap them for information, for thoughts, for ideas, to help you with a bit of the career planning as well as with a bit of a what should we be doing with our business or what should we be doing in agriculture was incredible. And it was probably only something you realised in hindsight having left, and then look back and realise that the people who are fronting you and presenting lectures were, once they walked out of that lecture room, were going back to deliver some of the most important research outcomes for primary industries. Certainly, so for example, you know, people like John Thompson and meat quality were just internationally renowned, and the fact that we had professors like that teaching us, you know, it left an indelible mark on us in terms of the importance of the work they were doing and also how far ahead of the status quo they were. I probably made the most of every sporting opportunity I could to give myself a reason not to have to study. So that meant I played a whole range of sports, some which made no sense, like underwater hockey, which was an enthralling 2 seasons I played. I'm still not sure what the real purpose of the game was, other than to give me a distraction outside of studying. I played soccer for varsity, for the uni, a number of varsity games. I played rugby for United in a couple of games. Every year the uni would also play AFL across the colleges. We used to play in that. Basically, if there was a sporting contest on somewhere, I'd be lining up to get involved. It was a great distraction away from study. It also gave you a chance to meet new people who you didn't get to see in that 40 hours of contact every week as part of rural science. When I came to UNE, I was staying at Austin College, which was the newest, the brightest and the sort of shiniest of all the colleges at that stage. Austin was fantastic. It had such a blend of everyone. You know, it had a lot of my friends at Austin were doing a Bachelor of Financial Administration, and a lot of them were doing arts, science, and obviously rural science, economics. So it was a real mix of both students across a full spectrum of the courses available here, plus also geographically. You know, you had, you know, full spread of Australia basically represented in the college, which was just great. And again, it's one of those things that you don't realise till you finish around the workforce, that you sort of go, well, actually, yeah, I do know someone from Temora, and I do know someone from Wagga, and I do know someone from Melbourne, and these sort of start to put the importance of that diversity into sort of context. I didn't stay the whole way through the 4 years because took the opportunity to move out into Claude Street flats and fend for myself in terms of meals, and although having said that, moved in with a great set of flatmates who included someone who worked for Pizza Hut as a delivery driver and used to bring home any leftover pizzas on a regular basis, so that was always handy. But we had college life was fantastic. The university life was fantastic. And it was one of those things where, as relieved as you are to get through to the end of your degree, I constantly remind my children now about how great both school is and then how great the period is when you're at university, and not to wish it away too quickly. Straight out of uni, I went and managed a pub in Ireland for a year, which was as far away from agriculture as I could find at the time. But also was a great sort of, reinforced to me the value of hospitality and the hospitality services as a great way to learn people skills. It's sort of amazing how spending some time on the other side of the bar and the other side of the counter sort of teaches you how important, to someone's day, manners and courtesy can be. And so that was a fantastic opportunity, but I spent a couple of years overseas, came back and threw myself back into agriculture, which was what I've always been my passion, where I was born and bred. I ended up working for a number of livestock industry organised associations, ended up being able to run the North American office for Meat and Livestock Australia, which meant a couple of years in Washington DC, looking after Canada, US and Mexico in terms of trying to convince American retailers and food service to either use Australian beef or Australian lamb, which again sort of was I drew a lot on the hospitality sort of experiences I had in those conversations. Ultimately got to be Managing Director for Meat and Livestock Australia, and then 2014 took on the role of Director General with New South Wales DPI. So New South Wales DPI comprises what was previously agriculture, fisheries, biosecurity and food safety, and it has two supporting groups that provide policy and strategy advice and also communications and engagement advice. We're about 2,500 staff spread across about 100 offices across New South Wales. We've also got an office and offices on Lord Howe Island as part of New South Wales territories. We've got 16 research stations that vary in size from a couple of hundred hectares up on the north coast through to over 10,000 hectares out of Trangie. We have still the largest research cohort of any state government across the country. We pride ourselves on our agricultural research and our research capability, both our assets and our people. And it's pleasing that we've got a strong group of those researchers continuing to be involved in the genetics, livestock genetics research sector here at Armidale, and continue to manage a joint venture with UNE in the Australian Beef Genetics Unit, continuing to provide genetic research outcomes to sheep and lamb and cattle producers. So without a doubt, what we're seeing at the moment is the third revolution in agriculture and agricultural production. The first was mechanisation, in which we moved away from horses and bullocks pulling ploughs to petrol-driven engines and tractors, so that industrialisation. The second was really the green revolution, when we started to actually better understand the genetics of both the crops and the animals that we were using, and we're able to drive significant productivity gains out of better utilisation of those genetics and the key traits that we're looking for. This third one is really about the utilisation of data and digitisation of agriculture. Cheaper sensors providing real-time information to farmers to make decisions that in turn could be based on predictions of that data previously, when put together in that way, has produced this kind of outcome. So we're predicting it'll do it again. here's where you can insert management opportunities to either steer it that way or another way. Now, that's going to be an exciting time for agriculture because there's some big productivity gains to be made out of that. But it's also going to provide opportunities for a whole range of new disciplines from broader afield than just purely what had been previously, agronomy, livestock production, to really play a key role in driving agriculture forward. There's going to be, key work for mathematicians, for data analysts, for engineers, for computer programmers to play a really important role in helping drive that next wave of that revolution. And so making sure that we're constantly reminding all disciplines of the importance of agriculture as a sector for them to work in, and not just a place purely for those from the land or those with an agricultural background, is going to be critical to that success. I think that's one of the key things for primary industries and for ag over this next period of time, is how they build the linkages to all these other disciplines to make the most of data and the digitisation of that data.